When did I realise I wanted to pursue a life as a mistress? I always knew that I wanted to pursue this life. I just didn't know that that's what this life was called. I always wanted to be like an inspiration, an ideas person, and it was very difficult for me to explain that to the careers officer, because they're going, well, what do you want to be when you're older? And you can't exactly say, I want to be everyone's friend and make them smile. It doesn't work like that, right? So, yeah, I can't remember what I said. My alternative reality, my alternative job is a taxi driver. I'd really like that. I love driving. So how did it begin? Well, I was working in a really normal vanilla job, and I fell pregnant and had my son, who is now 4. And before that, I just couldn't return back to work. It was pretty like hellish schedules, lots of travel, lots of stress, responsibility, and I just couldn't do it. So I decided I have to change careers, do something different, because it just wasn't working for me anymore. And in the meantime, I thought, well, holy shit, I've got a son, I've got a child. I need to make sure there's a little bit of income coming in, because you have to work, don't you? You can't just go, oh well. So I did something called web camming, and I just went, this is where I'm supposed to be in the world. I think it was quite a natural progression from there on, and I learnt more and more, and I loved it more and more, and I became it and it became me, and I have never looked back. It was the best decision I've ever made to turn that cam on that day. It's totally changed my life, and I love it. Oh, that's a big question. How do you protect your heart? I don't know, and if you do know, let me know. I feel like to do this job wholeheartedly, to do it really, really well, to do it authentically, and to be true, to be moral, you have to be authentic and real and love with your true heart. You can't play pretend and put on an act. And of course I may, and I do, over dramatise and really fetishize, I don't know, things. But in essence, it's all very true to heart. And how do you protect yourself? Experience, time. It's very emotional. It's very hard work. There's a lot of emotional labour involved that goes quite unseen. And I do fall for you guys, and I adore you. I really do. Your submission is a gift to me, and it's not a gift I take lightly. So, why is my cleaner cleaning really loudly over this question? That's annoying. So how do I protect myself? I don't know. The answer is I don't, because I frequently get very hurt, and I generally wear my heart on my sleeve, and that gets me in all sorts of trouble, as it were. When I meet someone socially, can I tell if they're submissive, and do I play on that right away? Okay, break it down. When I meet someone socially, can I tell if they're submissive? Sometimes they're open about it. especially if you're meeting in a kink environment, people will approach you in a respectful and like high protocol way. But just generally in like a plain vanilla social situation, not really, no. It's more if you have an interaction with someone, like a shop assistant or like a delivery driver or something like that, and it's almost like in a service role, you can kind of tell if someone really enjoys making you happy in terms of submission, or maybe they just love their job. I don't know. So yes and no, but it depends on each individual's personal character and how they're feeling in that time, that day. When I meet people socially and I fancy them and I can tell that they're submissive, then things are slightly different, because I really do enjoy it. Oh God, I probably sound like a right cunt. I love it. I love the way it makes me feel. So if I'm in a social situation with someone and I notice they keep noticing my feet, because I notice these things. I didn't used to notice that, but you know how a girl walking down the street will notice that someone's wolf whistled and said all right and stuff. I noticed that a guy in Tesco looked at my feet for way too long. So yeah, or like, I don't know. There's lots of different things. Like maybe he just thinks I've got ugly feet, but so yeah, the foot fetish is the most obvious to spot because it's literally that. I'm rambling. Do I play on it? Look, I don't just play with people's hearts for the sake of it. Not unless I really want to. Who am I fucking kidding? I definitely play with people's hearts for the sake of it. I'm awful. Is that does that go against consent? Probably. But they wouldn't engage back. You know, you'd pick up the signals if someone didn't want to engage in something like that. And you do, you know, you might flirt or something, or be a bit dominant, a bit bossy, a bit sassy, and they may respond in a negative way, and you go, oh, okay, I got that one wrong. Yeah. So the answer is yeah and no, and a little bit of everything in between. Oof, you guys are really coming up with the psychological questions here. Can I not have both? Both the heart and the mind? I want to have your logical love. Logically, I want you to go, she is ticking all the boxes. I really am happy in this place. That's what I'd love. But I also want you to go, there's just something within me that says I am perfectly happy here in this space, in this time. So I'll have both, please. I guess that's a bit of a funny question because I already do live a bit of a fantasy life. When people find out what I do for a living, they do kind of go, oh, wow, tell me about it. So I do live this almost like secret superhero life where I kick kinky men by night and make sandwiches by day. I suppose if I could make any change to my immediate life, in an ideal world, I would make my job really acceptable and just kind of do away with that stigma, so that when I meet someone who is a lovely person and very genuine, and I want to talk to them about the real me and what I really do, but I feel like I can't, that's quite hurtful sometimes. So if I could live a fantasy life, I would live a life where I don't have to hide. And yeah, surely that can't be that far away, right? It's never it for me, no. Of course there's levels. So if I have a strictly very professional relationship with someone, and they decide that they don't wish to see me anymore, that's fine. There's nothing I can do, and I wouldn't wish to hold them back or stop them or keep them serving me for any reason. I always value honesty, so to have that honesty, I would much rather have that painful conversation and things come to a close than wonder why I was suddenly dropped or blocked or something. And come hell or high water, I will never reach out to you and get in touch with you. That decision is entirely yours, and you're welcome to come back. Should things ever break down for whatever reason, you're welcome to come back. You better come back with a big fucking bunch of flowers though. So yes, sometimes relationships do break down, and that's fine. There does come a point personally where I do feel sometimes I wish to reach out and say, I miss you, I miss the way you make me feel, I miss the way your words make me feel or your submission makes me feel. And sometimes I do have terrible sadness when someone leaves me, but again, professionally, I would never overstep that boundary and say something like, ring them up and a year later and say, oh hi, it's me, I miss you, because when you engage in a professional service, you expect a professional response, and yes, there's hearts and minds involved as well, but I have to be the one to step back. I'm well aware I am not your wife or girlfriend, and you are perfectly entitled to a very, very happy life, and I have nothing to do with it. And so there's not a single submissive that I look back and think, there's no one I look back on and can't remember fondly. I remember all my boys. There have been boys who disappointed me, or the relationship faded and I wish it hadn't, but this is life. And when you intensely love, you do sometimes get your feelings hurt, and I have cried, and I probably will in the future. I don't think that makes me any more or less dominant. That just makes me quite real. What person in the public eye would I most like to dom? This is a funny question because when someone says, oh, who do you want to like kick the shit out of? Well, that's a different question to who do you want to dominate, because when you dominate, you bring someone immense pleasure, don't you? I could not even think about bringing immense pleasure to like Donald Trump, but I could think about kicking the shit out of him. So, I don't know, it's a funny one. Who would I like to bring immense pleasure to? Taylor Hawkins. Yeah, there is, actually. I really want to explore a lot more medical and kind of body modification type stuff, but that's pretty heavy, and I am so not educated enough to even really begin doing that. Needle play is just about as far as I go with that one, so yeah, in the future maybe. Also, I think it's very important to pass on as much information as you can. So I'm going to be exploring how to kind of create a bit more of a one-stop shop for education for the girls who aren't quite sure, so that even if they are playing in a scene that's perhaps not quite right, at least they're doing it slightly safely. So sharing what I do know and learning where I don't would be my next step. I'm also really keen to push filming to a new level. I've seen some really god-awful stuff, and I just that's not representative of what BDSM should be. It should be, you know, it should be pleasure, it should be entertainment, it should be thrills, high octane, and, you know, and low and dark and beautiful. It should be well thought out, and you should deliver in each little niche the most perfect work. I don't like second best, so I really want to push the quality of film servants, filming, locations, stories, everything. At what point did I realise I could make this into a living? I realised immediately that I could make this into a living. As soon as I logged on to Cam that day, I made £70 in the first day, and I was only on for a few hours. That was the exact same amount as I earned a day in my previous middle management role. So that's the day. Also, I didn't have to leave the house. I didn't have to have stress about meetings. I enjoyed myself. I smiled. I felt confident, and that's the moment. I literally logging on that day was the best thing I've ever done, and it has made me complete. And so that's when I realised. When did I realise I was good at my job? And that was a rare thing was not until some time later. I thought a lot of people could do this. I thought people could log on Cam and just go, oh, hi, I'm so-and-so, and make a bit of money. But it's actually something that's very much within you already. So, yeah. There. So I guess there's two phases to that. When I realised I could do it, and when I realised I could really do it.